The Valpo Velvet we know and love today has a rich history here in Valparaiso, Indiana, dating back almost 100 years. In 1920, the company known as Valparaiso Home Ice Company was started by Fred Bartz. They started by selling ice and ice cream that went by the name of Valpo Velvet, and a couple years later began selling other dairy products as well. In 1937, Fred Bartz moved from their original location on Brown Street in Valparaiso to the location that stands and operates today. 10 years later, the company was purchased by Herbert Brown. Herbert had an extensive background in dairy, earning a degree in dairy science from the University of Wisconsin, then going on to work in the dairy industry, eventually landing in Chicago. While managing ice cream companies there, Herbert realized he wanted to own his own ice cream business and happened to come across an ad in the paper that led him to Valparaiso. Herbert's grandson, Mike Brown.
My grandfather bought this place in 1947. He had worked for several dairies in Chicago and saw it for sale in the Chicago Tribune. He always wanted to own his own dairy, so he came and looked at the place and, purchased it, and it's been in the family ever since.
Bringing what he knew to the business, Herbert brought his own ice cream recipes. A couple years later, in 1949, Herbert's son, Gordon, a recent graduate of his father's alma mater, joined the family business. He too had earned a degree in dairy science and introduced cottage cheese to their dairy line with much success. Over the next several years, changes were made. In 1960, they quit the ice business. In 1971, Gordon took over the family business from his dad, slightly updating their ice cream flavors. And then, in 1973, they sold off most of their dairy business, except for the ice cream equipment. Through all of the changes, the production of Valpo Velvet ice cream continued.
We were a dairy up until 1973, so we bottled milk, had the home delivery, and the glass bottles and all that up until 73. And that was kind of just a dying thing anymore. Most people were not at home to accept their milk and bought it at the grocery store, so that was the beginning of all that. So we sold our dairy business to Dixie Dairy in Gary, Indiana.
Selling their milk routes allowed the Browns to now focus on making ice cream and running their new Brown's Ice Cream Parlor and Restaurant.
We remodeled this building into a restaurant, so we were a full-service restaurant. This went all the way back. We had about 2,400 square feet of restaurant.
In the years since then, they've served food on and off in their shop.
When we closed the restaurant and remodeled into this smaller shop.
Okay.
And we opened for probably 2 or 3 years where we served food, and then decided just to stop the food.
They had stopped serving food for several years, but are once again serving a cafe-style menu, including soups, salads, and sandwiches. One would think working through all of these changes would be difficult, but being the third generation to work this business, the Browns were up for the challenge.
I was kind of groomed, I guess. I used to come down on Sundays when I was a little boy and help my dad put the plant together for the Monday run. So, it just, both my older brothers went in different directions, and I decided to work in the business. My younger brother does too, so there's 2 of us here working.
Valpo Velvet is truly a family-run business. Longtime employee Carla.
In 2007, I could say that I stopped working for a few years, and then I just came back because I love working here. I love how they can always work my schedule around with my children. I always feel comfortable with and always working here.
You'll often see Mike and his wife Kathy in the shop, along with 1 or more of their kids. Mike's brother and co-owner, Mark, is out there making deliveries within a 50-mile radius of Valparaiso.
We deliver to restaurants and grocery stores and institutions.
Not only can you find Valpo Velvet ice cream in restaurants or on the shelf of a local supermarket, you can also find them out and active in their community.
We do quite a bit in the community, actually. We donate a lot of ice cream to different events and organizations and whatnot. And we're always at the local festivals we have vending trucks now, so that's become huge.
3 generations later, they're still making premium ice cream the way their dad and grandfather did, using quality ingredients sourced as locally as they can, including their dairy coming in from only 30 miles away. Quality ingredients also means they try to steer clear of artificial and keep things more natural.
Well, we're just trying to get as far away from artificial stuff as possible.
Sticking with tradition, they've only added a few new flavors over the last 5 years. They've added salted caramel and rainbow sherbet to their lineup, as well as Superman and chocolate frosted cake batter. Licorice Crisp has a small following, but they're happy to serve it up seasonally.
We'll have some of that coming out. It's kind of a seasonal flavor. It's not a big seller, but there's some people that just die for it.
Being around ice cream all of the time doesn't stop anyone in the family from eating it, including Mike.
Sometimes I'll come in at night and I'll come out and I have a cone and I'll have Heavenly Hash or something.
They're also proud to include vegan ice creams and sorbets. In its current state, the shop is painted to look like a Wisconsin dairy farm. When you walk in the doors, you'll see pictures on the wall depicting the rich history of the family's dairy farms in Wisconsin. The bathroom even has fun quotes handwritten on the wall by Mike's wife Kathy and their daughter. In this inviting space, kids and families line up for their favorites. Jack, a fourth grader from Valparaiso.
I like Valpo Velvet's ice cream because it's a lot better than other places, and they're like Viking Sundae, it's the biggest and the best, and their ice cream, it's awesome.
Like many family-run businesses, the Browns look forward to the opportunity to serve the families that come in and share in the tradition that is Valpo Velvet.
You know, we're still making it the same way we've made it for, since my dad perfected the recipe back in the early 60s. We're still making it the same way. So I think that's quality is what's kept us in business all these years.
Will the tradition continue and a fourth generation of Browns take over? Only time will tell. For now, though, Valpo Velvet is a cherished staple in Valparaiso, Indiana, and they look forward to serving ice cream in the community for years to come.